It's been a wild ride of education since January, I have to say. I never imagined at the start of this year that I would be in the middle of writing a book about some massive financial fraud, because that's just not my area of expertise. But the learning curve has been so steep. Uh, what have you made just generally of the community that's been built up around this? Because it started with Wall Street Bets. Obviously, it's mutated quite heavily since then. But what has been your overall take on the community that's evolved here?
They give so much. Shout out right now to Trey's Trades. Shout out to Matt Kors. Like these people that build on the foundation of getting you through the door. Right? If you were interested because someone put an article out and maybe it was a family member or a friend into your Facebook inbox or your email, and it said GME is going crazy or AMC is going crazy. Like today, hashtag AMC Squeeze, I think was trending #2 on Twitter, maybe #1 now. It's mainstream, right? People want to know about what's happening with these two stocks, and that gets them their foot in the door of learning more than like a finance degree can get you, right? Just from these forums alone. So in terms of giving, the community not only gives their time, like these people are just all day creating this research because it's not their full-time job, right? They go out and they try to build it on top of what they already know. Build it on top of the free time they have. They could be spending in the pandemic doing X, Y, and Z. But I personally started getting tired of doing X, Y, and Z, right? I really wanted to just be able to start growing something of my own, growing not only a platform to be able to explain to people these financial concepts, but also a news like site to be able to catalyze these underspoken reports, research, and breaking news.
That's definitely something that came up quite a lot in the chat I had with William Steele, Bill Steele from the Stonk News Network. We talked a lot about how this is ultimately right now it's an information war, and we are doing well against the traditional final or financial institutions because we are able to collaborate all together in producing different little specks of information, and there would be no one person who could put together everything that the community has put together as a whole, because there's so many tiny different areas of expertise. There's channels doing like different analysis of different things. There's people focused specifically on, say, GME or AMC, or so there's been people looking at other cryptos that have been involved in like alleged pump and dump schemes by hedge funds. It's beautiful to watch, man.
Yeah, this is essentially what we've wanted to do was pull out this thread of a good opportunity for you. But then what we actually found was that thread was tied to a sweater that revealed not only is most of our market rehypothecated, not only is most of our regulation receiving kickbacks for those criminal activities, but it also ends up being the most unstable financial system like we have as humanity built to date. And it has been going on for far longer than people thought. This is a wake-up call to more people than just the person that wants to get rich.
Yeah, it's been the craziest thing for me is like I'm in the middle of a chapter, writing a chapter where I'm basically trying to figure out how paranoid the community is, because we've seen everything alleged from hedge funds pumping and dumping different stocks, to infiltrating the subreddit, to buying off moderators, to employing like COINTELPRO levels of manipulation of the community. There's been like death threats, and there's been like weird messages about like suicide being sent to some of the moderators. And it then I came across your video where you talk about how you had been approached to shill, basically. Could you give me a little bit more on, or could you give us a little bit more on what it was like to be approached and what they kind of offered?
So the end result of that story was how it was a desire of mine to try to like approach this topic without putting on the conspiratorial, the paranoia hat, right? Because I'm watching the live chat, I'm reading through the forums. Like I know that people are going to jump on. For example, Ryan Cohen took a picture with next to a bunch of GameStop games just yesterday. And immediately people are like, oh, that means, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we're going to Valhalla. That means that the time is up for this game and next that game, right? People will always give a supply and demand amount of attention to the tweets. For example, Ryan Cohen doesn't tweet very much. So since he tweets so little, every single pixel of a photo that he tweets is important to this community. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. An eye for detail is not necessarily a bad thing. However, when you actually do get approached by companies that want you to be able to cover other topics using your platform, right, that's something that you have to be able to consider in terms of doing your own research on the company that is approaching you, and then asking yourself the question of whether or not this serves the community. At the end of the day, I use a lot of the tools on my platform to the benefit of the community. And when I look at stocks that don't actually resonate with the ethos of the brand and the people that watch this show, then that makes me feel like that is the definition of shilling. Right. And that's something that I wanted to explore. I was able to finagle the contract out of them. I finagled how much money they were willing to offer. And then from that, we were able to basically put a number, a face, and a method to how people get approached. And if you go and look at some of these articles, you can look into the embedding of the article itself and see how many people actually got paid. And they'll tell you the amount that's legally obliged that they enclose that this institution got like $25,000. This influencer with however many followers got $200. This person got $800, etc.
What is your thoughts on the extent to which these allegations of people being paid to just post generally on r/Superstonk, r/GME, r/Wall Street Bets New? What was your thoughts on how much that was actually happening and how much this is just like a community disagreeing with each other?
So I want to make sure I answer your question. The question is, how much of this is like the community not wanting to see non-GME AMC Superstonk news versus how much is this the community thinking that they're actually being attacked?
Yeah, essentially. So either talking about different stocks, they're then always accused of being distractions. Anyone trying to ask questions or who seems to be spreading FUD is then immediately a shill. How much is that real, and how much do you think that is the community being paranoid?
Shill hunting or witch hunting for shills is very much a real thing, right? The death threats that you mentioned, the like coerced like suicide notes and stuff like that, that's also real, right? I myself have been threatened with like lawsuits for like very, not defensible things. People are like, oh yeah, we're gonna get you. We're gonna like find out about this thing, and then you kind of are worried about how much you've actually already doxed yourself to the community, to a community that is this rampant. Some of which are due to financial reasons, right? They might be invested heavily in these stocks, and they just are worried about one single link of failure. And that's a fair argument, right? Some of these influencers are just one person. This 80,000 subscriber YouTube channel that I built, I have to thank immediately my roommate that has helped me edit a bunch of the videos when I was doing data science videos, my girlfriend who constantly helps me do moderating and design work. But at the end of the day, the single person that's on the screen all day is me. And that gives people that it makes them afraid that when the mother of short squeezes happens, there's going to be a distraction comes up. And if I end up getting distracted, that might hurt the squeeze. I have to say that, in my opinion, we have been nonstop trying to tell people that you do your own financial research. If there is a breaking news, I'm going to tell you about it, and then you research it yourself. Some people are too busy to look at the stock market at all times, so they are plug me in while they work, standing up all day, and so that they can keep an eye on what news to follow. Right? That's perfectly acceptable uses of this platform, so that you can have a bigger scaffolding to do your own financial education. Like, let me cut out the fat for you. Let me cut out the like endless hours of digging through the wrong articles, the actual like conspiracy theories. Let me present to you the actual DD that you need to look at. So in the end of the day, to circularly answer your question, when people don't want to look at like videos of non-GME related topics, it's a lot more it's a lot stronger hate of that concept than like at a knitting club you start talking about politics, right? It's definitely similar in the sense that like both of those are kind of like the wrong time to do X, Y, and Z. But when you try to bring a non-GME related topic to a GME subreddit, that's like a cardinal sin.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, or sign up to our mailing list. Thanks a lot to our sponsor, ExpressVPN, the #1 most trusted VPN. Get lightning fast connectivity with servers in 160 locations across 94 countries. Keep your browsing privacy safe with ExpressVPN and get a 35% discount on 12 months of ExpressVPN when you follow the link in the description below. Don't forget my book is now out and available to order on Amazon and on bookshop.org. That's Brexit, the Establishment Civil War. And most importantly, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.